Hi everyone, this is the video guide for cardiovascular system. In this video, we are going to help you guys to understand more about cardiovascular system, perhaps if you still have some difficulties after reading our module. Okay, so the main goal of this video is for further understanding about cardiovascular system, more focusing to the heart action, blood pressure reading, and cardiovascular diseases. For general information, what exactly is cardiovascular system? So cardiovascular system, or more often to be called as circulatory system, is a system that helps to circulate blood around our body. The blood carries nutrients, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and hormones. And the heart is the main organ of this cardiovascular system. It consists of 4 chambers, 3 types of vessels, and blood cells. As we know, there is 4 types of tissue in general: muscle tissue, epithelial tissue, connective tissue, and nervous tissue. In cardiovascular system, there are only 3 tissue, that is muscle, epithelial, and connective tissue. The epithelial tissue and connective tissue can be found in the blood vessel, and the muscle tissue is present as a cardiac muscle tissue that can be found in the heart. So this is the structure of heart. Here we're focusing more on sinoatrial node, abbreviated as SA node, atrioventricular node, abbreviated as AV node, right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle, and Purkinje fibers. Okay, for easier understanding, I've made a simple chart showing how the blood flows around our body. Starting from the right atrium, but why I write veins on the upper left of the atrium? Because when the blood from the whole body enters the right atrium, it goes through veins. And from the right atrium, the blood will directly go to the right ventricle through tricuspid valve. The function of tricuspid valve is to make sure that the blood did not flow back to the right atrium. And after from the right ventricle, the blood then will flow to the lungs through pulmonary aorta. In the lung, the blood that is full with carbon dioxide will then be exchanged with oxygen. After the oxygen is loaded, the blood then will flow back to the left atrium through pulmonary veins. After the blood is arrived at the left atrium, the blood then will straight flows to the left ventricle through bicuspid valve. The function of bicuspid valve is just the same as tricuspid valve, that to make sure that the blood did not flow back to the left atrium. After the left ventricle, the blood will flow to the whole body, carrying nutrients, oxygen, and hormones, and anything else. The blood flows to the whole body through aorta, and that is the simple chart to understand how the heart works. For you guys who are having difficulties for remembering what kind of vessels is used for delivering blood from right atrium, from lung, or to the whole body, I have some tips for you guys. So let's take a look at veins. Vein, it ends with ins, so it means that the vessel flows the blood into the heart. So veins send the blood to the right atrium. Right atrium is the chambers of heart. So what about aorta? Aorta, let's look about pulmonary aorta. Aorta, it just sounds like out, so it flows the blood away from the heart. So the right ventricle flows the blood to the lungs. So it means that the blood is going out from the heart through pulmonary aorta. Okay, and what is the difference between the regular vein and the pulmonary vein, regular aorta and the pulmonary aorta? So the regular vein and regular aorta does not connect to the lung. It just connects to the heart and the whole body. Then the pulmonary aorta is connected straightforward to the lung. So right ventricle just connected straightforward to the lung through pulmonary aorta, not a regular aorta. So there is some tip for me. Hope you can remember easily about the vessels.
There are two types of pressure performed when our heart is beating. The name of the pressure are systolic and diastolic pressure. Systolic pressure is the pressure when our heart muscles relaxes and refills blood to the heart, while diastolic pressure is the pressure when our heart is pumping blood and contract vigorously. These two pressures affect the way of reading blood pressure. When we check our blood pressure by using densimeter, it will show two different numbers. The number on top is the systolic pressure and the number on the bottom is the diastolic pressure. The normal range of blood pressure are between 90 and less than 120 mm of mercury for the systolic pressure, and between 60 and less than 80 mm of mercury for the diastolic pressure. However, it's important for us to keep both systolic and diastolic pressure to stay in the normal range. In other words, not too low and not too high. If the pressure is too high, hypertension may be present, and if the pressure is too low, the brain will not get enough blood and hypotension will present. Here is some disease caused by cardiovascular system failure. Number 1 is heart attack. Heart attack is a condition when the blood supply to the heart is blocked by blood clot, and if the obstacles is not treated immediately, it can harm the heart muscles. The symptoms of heart attack are chest pain, cold sweats, and shortness of breath. The treatment for heart attack patient is depend on the condition of the patient. If the patient is still in the mild condition, the doctor will only suggest lifestyle changes such as stop smoking, consume a good nutrients, and be active physically every day. But if the patient is already in the moderate condition, the doctor will give medicines to the patient. The function of the medicines is to prevent harmful clots from forming in the blood vessels and prevent the clots from becoming larger and cause more serious problem. Number 2 is stroke. There are two kinds of stroke. It is called hemorrhagic and ischemic stroke. Ischemic stroke occurs when a blood vessel that feeds the brain gets blocked by blood clots. It causes the blood supply to the brain is cut off and some brain cell will die. The died brain cells can't regenerate it again, and this will cause the brain won't be able to give the right order to the other part of body. So there are a lot of ischemic stroke patient experience speaking and walking trouble. Hemorrhagic stroke occurs when a blood vessel inside the brain bursts because of high blood pressure and causes hemorrhage inside the brain. For now, there is no cure that can directly cure both ischemic and hemorrhagic stroke, but the doctor will suggest the patient to consume anticoagulant medicine or do surgery to prevent the stroke from getting worse. Number 3 is heart failure. It is a condition when the heart muscles that take responsibility for pumping blood is become weak or stiff. This causes the heart can't work optimally and can't drain enough blood to the whole body. The symptoms of heart failure are shortness of breath and gets tired easily. For the treatment of heart failure, the patient will suggest to limiting their activities and do healthy lifestyle, such as consume a lot of vitamins, eat healthy foods, and do some mild exercise. The doctor will also give medicine based on the condition of the patient. The purpose of the medication is to relieve the symptoms and increase heart strength. So that's all our presentation about cardiovascular system. Thank you for listening to us.